Hello, dear students. Welcome to eBridge course program of 2020-21. In this video, we are going to learn mathematics from 10th standard and introduction to Euclid's geometry. This is Jyotikumar M. On the screen, we are looking an image of a famous mathematician called Euclid. Euclid is called as father of geometry because Euclid collected all the known work of geometry and arranged it in his famous treatise. Here we are having a question. What is the meaning of treatise? Treatise means a written work done formally and systematically with a particular subject is called as treatise. And these famous treatises are called as the elements. Euclid divided these elements into 13 chapters. You are going to wonder each chapter is considered as a book. These books influenced the whole world's understanding of geometry for generations to come. In this video, we are going to learn some of the definitions given by Euclid and some of the axioms given by Euclid. First of all, consider some of the definitions given by Euclid. The first was a point. On the screen, we are looking 3 points, namely A, B, and C. What is your answer? Are these three are points? If yes, your answer is yes. Let us consider what is the definition given by Euclid regarding a point. Euclid defined that a point is that which has no part. That means point is a dimensionless geometrical shape. That means a point is not having any breadth, any length, and any height. Then in the previous slide, what we have seen, they are not actually points because they are having something dimensions. Then a question arises here, how to draw a point. It is actually very simple. We will get a point by touching a sharp pencil on a sheet or a piece of paper or on any plane surface. Then let us move on to next definition of Euclidean geometry. The next definition was line. Again, in this slide, we are going to observe three different lines. Again, my question is, are these three shapes or lines? If your answer again was yes, just consider what is the definition given by Euclid about a line. A line is breadthless length. That means a line is a one-dimensional shape because it is having only length but it is not having any breadth. Then in the previous slide, what we have seen, they are not actually lines because they are having breadth. Again, we will get a line by drawing with a sharp pencil by slightly pressing on a sheet or a piece of paper or on any surface. A line may be straight or curved. If it is straight, it is called as straight line. If it is curved, it is called as curved line. Then let us move on to third definition, endpoints of a line. Here we are going to observe two different types of lines. One is straight and another one is curved. Actually, we are going to observe a line is made up of collection of points. Then in a line, starting, ending and middle portion, these lines are actually made up of points. Not only starting and ending points, a line is collection of points. And the fourth one is straight line. Here we are having an image of a straight line. A straight line is a line which lies evenly with the points on itself. The meaning of this definition is as follows. In a straight line, all points lies evenly. That means equally on the same plane. That is the condition. The next definition is surface. Here we are having a plane surface. A surface is that which has length and breadth only. Let us consider this line is called as length, and this one is also called as length, and this one is called as breadth, and this one is also called as breadth. That means surface is a two-dimensional geometrical shape. And the next one is edges of surface. Here we are having two different images. In the first image we are having a rectangle and a circle. These two shapes are actually separated by the lines, and here we are having our own country, India. In this map, the states are actually divided by the imaginary lines. Then the edges of surfaces are lines. The meaning of this definition is as follows. Boundaries of surfaces are the lines. That means surfaces are actually divided by the lines. Lines may be straight or curved. And the next definition is plane surface. Here we are having an image of a right circular cylinder. In this cylinder, we are actually having two plane surfaces and one curved surface. Then what is the meaning of a plane surface? Is given as follows by Euclid. A plane surface is a surface which lies evenly with the straight lines on itself. That means if we are able to draw a straight line on a surface, then the surface is called as plane. Just imagine that we are able to draw a straight line on this plane surface and also here. But in this curved surface, it is difficult to draw a straight line. That is the difference between a plane and curved surface. If on a surface we are able to draw a straight line, then it is called as plane. Otherwise, it is called as curved surface. Then let us move on to Euclid's axioms. Before going to Euclid's axioms, just recall what is the definition of an axiom. A scientific statement accepted without any question and without theoretical proof is known as an axiom. It is already proven statement. Axioms are going to use throughout mathematics, not only in mathematics and also other branches of science and not specifically linked with geometry. These statements are actually not specifically linked with geometry. We are going to use these statements all over the mathematics and also other branches of science. The first axiom is states like this: things which are equal to the same thing are equal to one another. Let us try to understand this axiom with the help of an image. In this image, here a rectangle is equal to a triangle and also a square is equal to this triangle. Then if rectangle is equal to triangle, if square is equal to triangle. Look at here, rectangle is equal to triangle and triangle is equal to square, then rectangle is equal to square or square is equal to rectangle. This is the first axiom given by Euclid. Let us move on to next one. The second axiom is states like this: if equals are added to equals, what we are going to add equals to the equal quantities, then the sum or the wholes are equal. Here we are having two bowls of rice. Basically these two bowls are equal. After that we are going to add a spoon of equal quantity of rice to each bowls. Then the sum of the rice in both bowls are actually equal. Let us move on to third axiom. If equals are subtracted from the equals, the remainders are also equal. Again, consider the same rice bowl example. Here we are having two bowls of rice of equal quantity. After that, just take out a spoon of equal quantity of rice from both the bowls. Then the remainders are what left in the bowls. They are also equal because basically the two rice bowls are equals. Then the remainders are also equal. The fourth axiom is states like this: things which coincide with one another are equal to one another. Here we are having two coins of 5 rupees face value. when we are going to coincide these two coins on one another, they will actually going to coincide because both the coins are actually equal. If we are going to try accept this face value coin, the first coin is not going to coincide on the other because they are not actually equal. The next axiom states like this: the whole is greater than the part. Here we are having an image of a whole pizza burger or pizza and a piece of pizza. By observing this image, we may conclude that the whole pizza is greater than that of the its part. The statement of next axiom is: things which are double of the same thing are equal to one another. Here we are having two watches of equal size and equal price. Then if we are going to multiply each watch by 2, then we will get one watch into 2. Double watches are two watches. Here also one watch into 2, we will get two watches. If these two watches are equal, then the resulting two watches are also equal. The statement of next axiom is: things which are alls of the same things are equal to one another. Here we are having two equal watermelons. Actually, these are whole watermelon. Here these two watermelons are equal. If we are going to multiply this whole watermelon with half, then we will get 1 into half is equal to half, or half of the watermelon. Here also same case. If these two whole watermelons are equal, then their halves are also equal in quantity. Okay students, this is all about Euclid's definitions and axioms. Now this is homework time. The first homework is: it is known that if x plus z is equal to 100, then x plus y plus z is equal to 100 plus y. The Euclid's axiom that illustrates this statement is dash. Options are like this: first, second, third, and fourth. And the second homework question is: which of these is false? The first statement is like this: things equal to the same thing are equal. Second one, Euclid's fourth axiom says that everything equals itself. Third one, a point has no dimension. The fourth one, the statements that are to be proved are called as axioms. And let us move on to third homework question. Boundaries of solids are called as, or simply dash: surfaces, curves, lines, points. Fourth question is: Euclid divided his famous treatise the elements into dash. 9 chapters, 23 chapters, 10 chapters, and lastly 13 chapters. Let us move on to fifth homework question. The things which are double of the same thing are dash. All of the or half of the others. Double equals 0. And the last question of this video or homework, if jk is equal to 6 centimeter, pq is equal to 6 centimeter, mn is equal to 6 centimeter, then correct statement is dash. jk is not equal to pq. Second one is jk is equal to pq is equal to mn. Third one is jk is not equal to pq is not equal to mn, and last option is jk is greater than pq is greater than mn. Thank you, students.